Hello and welcome to the Wildflower Heart podcast. I am your host, Catherine Fisher. I am a singer-songwriter, and this is the podcast where we talk to interesting people about what their passion is. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
No worries. You are the first guest. So the bar is set very low because the intro episode was just me talking to myself. So you have no stress because it can't be as awkward as me talking to myself. So we met going to school for music.
Yeah.
I guess we met 6 years ago. 2014.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's crazy. I just had a thing on my time hop on Facebook that was like graduation was 4 years ago, and
oh yeah, I forgot about that. I just had that.
It was an entire high school ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know why that's how I think about things, but I always think about them in like school.
Yeah, same.
That's an entire undergrad ago. But you are a singer-songwriter. You've worked solo. You've worked in bands. You do a lot of writing.
Mm-hmm.
And you have a new song coming out.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's a cover that I did with, well, one of the people I met through MIA, Spencer Heaslip. He goes by Taboo. And then Andrew Falcao. He's a guitarist out of Toronto. And yeah, we did the cover before in MIA as a project, and then just decided to do it again for fun. And it turned out way better this time.
So you're saying you would have gotten a better mark if you had put this one in?
Like, way better.
How is it? Do you re-record everything?
Yeah, we started from scratch.
Oh man, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think there's one part in the beginning of the song Spencer used from the old one just to do the callback thing.
Little throwback.
Yeah.
To our days where we had very little sleep and I ate so many 7-Eleven cookies. Like, so many.
And taquitos.
Taquitos. I say that as if I ever had them. I didn't.
Oh, but I ate so many. It was disgusting.
And that is how you become a true artist. Are you really an artist if you haven't eaten questionable, like, variety store or gas station food? I don't think so. I think that's something you have to do. So it's a cover, and what was it like revisiting a song that you had covered so many years ago and coming back to it with a fresh mind and like stronger voice and all those things that develop over time?
Yeah, like, it was kind of weird coming back to it just because, like, I don't know, the first version just sounded like a demo, and we knew that we wanted so much more in it.
But when you have a bunch of projects and limited time, you kind of get what you get.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we added, like, some just, like, cool harmony things and changed a lot of the production. And then, like, the guitar parts Andrew did are completely different. So yeah, it's like just a reimagined, way better version, I think.
That's cool, though. That's really awesome. And how did you come to choose this song to recreate? Were there other songs that you were thinking about doing, or was this something that stood out to you? I'm trying to,
we had a few songs, like, during school that we were going to do, and I'm trying to, I'm sure there was, we were, like, thinking about doing, like, Disturbia, like, by Rihanna, and then, I can't remember the other ones, but yeah, we just thought it would be something that could turn out cool.
Yeah, and from what I've heard, I haven't heard the whole song, but from what I've heard, and I guess I will have heard it once this episode comes out, but it's definitely very different from the original.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's Somebody That I Used to Know by Gautier.
Yeah.
Correct? Yeah. So that is very much like a pop song. Like, it's pretty quintessential, especially for when it came out. I remember listening to it and I would sing the harmonies. And I remember my friend was in the car. I was in high school and she turned around. She's like, "Are you only singing the harmonies?" And I'm like, yes, I am. But it's very much a quintessential pop song. How would you describe your version?
I don't know, like a weirdo spin-off version of it. Really.
A weirdo spin-off version.
Like, we just kind of made it, well, like, definitely more kind of punk influenced, and then, like, the original definitely has electronic stuff in it, but I don't think in the same aspect, you know?
Kind of took what was there in some of those elements and then made them more extreme and amplified them. That's really cool. And then recreating that from scratch. And I know Spencer has done lots of work with artists doing a lot of electronic music and producing. So was it cool getting to collaborate with someone who is not necessarily the same genre? Because I would say that you're more of like an alt folk kind of indie artist.
Yeah. And then we've just, like, with being like a pop punk band before, I feel like that was our middle ground between me and him. And then Andrew just is like a very insanely good pop punk guitarist that like threw in everything he possibly knew for the cover, and it turned out really cool. But yeah, like, that was just kind of the jumping off point for it. Like, even when we initially did it, was just to do something for fun with kind of the high school emo days influences.
That's really awesome, though, and that's very cool to reimagine things and also take steps out of your comfort zone as an artist, of what you typically do as a solo artist. So you mentioned you had worked with bands before, and they were mostly in that like kind of pop punk genre, correct?
Yeah.
So what has it been like now coming back to working as a solo artist? Because that's where you started off, right? Was being a solo artist? Yeah,
well, it's been kind of, I guess I kind of did it in a weird way, especially because, like, the first song that's going to come out in a few years is, like, me singing genre-wise what I thought I would never really do again, you know? And then, like, future stuff I release will probably be way softer. Like, probably not breaking my vocal range as much, but, like...
Which is probably good for longevity of your vocal cords.
But yeah, I think it was a cool way to, like, get back into it. Because, like, I don't know, almost a send-off to what I was doing before and then moving on to everything else.
Yeah, kind of linking those two things. That's a really cool way to look at it. I hadn't looked at it that way. What has it been like writing, now going to like your artist side and your creative writing side? What has it been like writing over the past couple of years as a solo artist?
Definitely like complete 180 as opposed to being in a band, you know, like, because I would never, I guess not never, but like I wouldn't put as much focus on like what other band members were doing when I was in other bands, because it was just like they have their own style, they're gonna do their own thing. And then now writing new stuff, you know, if I have a lead guitar part or something, like, now I have to think about it on top of all the arrangement and initial lyric writing and everything.
Yeah, it's a unique challenge going from something that is more of a collaborative space where you can lean on other people's strengths to then having to kind of play arranger and producer all in your own mind and on your own project.
And then, like, working with Spencer too, it was just like then it was jumping right back into collaborating with someone, So, yeah, it's just weird process so far, but
But I mean, I don't think there's really a straight linear process for anybody.
yeah, true.
So you grew up in a smaller town, a little bit removed from what Canada would kind of say are the major metropolises of music.
Yeah.
Which I would say are kind of like Montreal, Vancouver, Toronto. Honestly, the major metropolises of a lot of industries, not just music. I personally, I think that there are a lot of really phenomenal writers who, especially like writers who are at their core writers, who come from smaller towns or more rural spaces. How do you think that influenced your creativity, or did it influence your art and your journey to becoming a singer-songwriter?
Yeah, I think it definitely did. Like, it's just, like, especially wanting to travel and, like, tour and stuff, like, you're stuck in this little place, and, yeah, just it's very appealing to be going everywhere else and doing what you love.
Yeah, and seeing so many places and just getting to explore a lot more than, honestly, even London is very close to the GTA, but for most of my life I really didn't spend any time there. I think before I moved there I'd been there 3 times, like to downtown Toronto, like twice or 3 times. But it is also nice not being from there, I think, because there's not as much competition even now, but also growing up I didn't have as much to compare myself to artist wise, which I think for me, as someone who compares herself almost to a fault, is really helpful. And I think sometimes when you also, from quite small communities, when there's not as many other things to do, like social activities and stuff, it almost gives you more time to be creative. I don't know. You could correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not from a small town.
No, it's kind of like I know what you mean, because it's like when you're in a smaller community, I feel like you definitely have more like distinct voices musically, because it's like, because I don't even have examples, so this may sound jerkish, but sometimes you go to cities and like you hear bands that just sound really similar, not in a bad way, but just like
But they have the same influences, and they might be writing about very similar experiences.
But yeah, then this little person from, middle of nowhere just has, super random influences and is like, stands out a lot more because you're not hearing any of those influences in anyone else.
So where would you say that you are now? Are you writing a lot? Is there any kind of other projects other than the song that you're working on, that you're exploring right now?
Just like recently I've just been searching through like lots of voice memos and then working on more fleshed out ones in the process. Yeah, just trying to get an idea of what I want, what ones I want to focus on.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes when you're a really prolific writer, it sounds very obnoxious to be like, it's difficult to be a prolific writer. But when you have so many pieces, sometimes it's hard to figure out which ones to focus on. And we all only have so much time in our lives, right? So,
and there's a lot of just like, there's so many that are just like, I was driving in my car and then like thought of like one line and then I listen back to it and I'm just like, yeah, nobody's hearing that ever. So.
Oh man, I went through a couple. I'm also doing the same thing. I went through some of my voice notes the other day and I found a like song title and I was like, oh, I remember this song. This is a good song. And I listened to it, and it's a totally different song with the same title. I was like, oh, this is not good. Why did I keep this? But yeah, it's definitely an interesting process in itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's been kind of like something I've been full on jumping back into, like after this collaboration and amidst while we were doing it. It's just like I moved back home after school. There was definite like unsure of what music was gonna be for a little while, and then just like I still wrote just because my brain can't not do it.
Yeah, it's the way you process things in the world around you. Yeah, we're very similar in that way for sure.
But yeah, then doing it again, just like, yeah, like especially with like I started a new job and then the world got shut down. And then, I was just kind of sitting on my hands, not knowing what to do. And then Spencer called me and wanted to do this. And then it gave me a lot more time to, like, think about why I haven't been doing it. And I just, then dropped $2,000 on recording equipment, like, the week after we were done recording it. And done.
You're like, I am all in.
Yeah.
I think it's good, though, for people to hear that you can take a break from something and come back to it when the time is right, and that there's no right or wrong way to evolve as an artist and as a creative. And you are donating the streaming revenue from your new single.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we're donating 50% to Indigenous organization and then 50% to Black organizations. Just because we literally just did the song for fun, and none of us are asking for anything more from it than that. Like, so like, especially with everything that's happening in the world right now, like if it can go towards something that needs it more, I think it's only right that it goes towards something that needs it more.
That's amazing. That's really awesome. Before we finish the interview, I have a couple of rapid fire questions.
Oh no.
They're not that bad, I promise. Okay. It's not like, what's your deepest, darkest secret? If you could play a show with any artist, who would it be?
Probably Damien Gerardo. He's like my top tier influence. So I'd have to say that. Even though there's so many more, but yeah.
I'm going to use that term now because I have a couple of artists that are like my top tier, but people are like, what's your most influential artist? I'm like, there's multiple. How can I pick one? What are your top 3 favorite records?
Oh my God.
I know. Asking the hard-hitting journalism questions.
Okay. Well, the first one is like technically 4, but it's a collection of records.
I'll allow it.
It's the Alchemy Index by Thrice. I'm just gonna put anything by Damien Gerardo for number 2. And I don't even know the name of the record. It's the Donovan Woods one.
The most recent one?
No, it was the one before that.
It's like
hard settled something.
Okay, hold on. I'm Googling it. Because I can imagine hard settle ain't troubled.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that one's so good. So many perfect songs.
I will say that Both Ways is my favorite record, but fine. We can agree to disagree. I will allow it. What's the best piece of advice you've been given? It can be about the industry or not.
Oh. I guess just to know, understand that if you're doing something you love, you deserve the praise you get sometimes, even though it can feel pretty awkward for some people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've actually never heard that, like, said that way. And that just hit me in the heartstrings. And then the final rapid fire question. If you had to get a song lyric tattooed on your body, what song lyric would it be?
Oh, God. This is just going to be me talking about Damien Gerardo for the whole thing.
We'll make sure to tag them.
It's like, oh, if I would get a paragraph of lyrics tattooed on me.
Your entire back.
There's just this one section in his song called Working Titles, and the lyrics are, "Leave me Manhattan, I want the evergreens. Write me a song I could sing in my sleep. As sure as the rain that will fall where you stand, I want you in the skyline. These are my demands." And I've always thought that was the greatest written line, or just, yeah. lyrics
section.
ever. And yeah.
That's funny because actually one of my favorite songs is also about Manhattan, and it's called Manhattan by Sara Bareille. It's so good. I don't know what it is about New York, but apparently it influences lots of creative, heart-wrenching, beautiful pieces. So where can people find you on the interwebs if they want to connect with you?
I've got my Facebook page under Northstar Deserter. I've got Instagrams. I have a personal one that's Rhinestone Cowboy. And then the one that I just started posting more music-based stuff on for Northstar Deserter.
Awesome. And then, do you want to plug the song one more time?
Yeah. Got a cover of Gautier's Somebody That I Used to Know coming out on the 19th of June. And it'll be on Spotify, iTunes, everything. I don't know all the streaming things because I only use Spotify, but
anywhere you stream music on your streaming platform of choice is what I usually plug when I'm plugging my music. And I say it that exact, like, kind of airline attendant kind of thing. Definitely make sure to check out Ryan and his music under Northstar Deserter. I am so stoked to hear the new song, and I know that it's going to be awesome because I did hear a little snippet of it. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Wildflower Heart podcast. If you want to connect with me, you can connect with me, Catherine F. Music, on Instagram, or Catherine Fisher on Facebook, www.catherinefmusic.com. Have a wonderful day or night whenever you're listening to this, and trust your wildflower heart.